Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Concession Stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the new supernatural horror film, Evil Dead Burn. This is the sixth installment to the Evil Dead film franchise, and in this one, after the loss of her husband, a grieving woman seeks solace with her in-laws at their secluded family home. However, it soon becomes a reunion from hell as the Book of the Dead unleashed demonic forces that transform them into Deadites one by one. I'm a huge fan of the Evil Dead, I should say, Evil Dead franchise. I've enjoyed every single one of them. The blend of comedy and horror, no one does it better than Sam Raimi. But after Army of Darkness, he kind of stepped away from the directing chair, and we got two new installments after that with the Evil Dead, and that was kind of a reboot. Freddie Alvarez directed that one. I really liked it. And in that one, they really took it real seriously. They went in a more serious direction, even though it was funny. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but they had some real funny moments in it. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Evil Dead Rise really caught me off guard a couple of years ago. I thought we got one of the best Evil Dead films from that film. I'm still, and it's been 3 years since the release of that movie, I still am not 100% ready to just anoint it the best of the Evil Dead films, but I enjoyed that movie so much. I've rewatched that movie at least 5 times since it was released in 2023. And so when they announced they're doing another one, of course, because Evil Dead Rise was mildly successful, okay, I'm all on board. We're doing a different story yet again, kind of a standalone sequel to it. Yeah, like, okay, it's of sorts. But I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. I enjoy the silly violence that you get, the silly gore that you get from this franchise. Sat down, began watching Evil Dead Burn. This movie was horrible. I really have nothing good to say about this film. Absolutely nothing. Well, let me take that back. There's one good element of this movie. One. And that's the cinematography. I thought the cinematography in this film was pretty decent, Aside from that, nothing else. Nothing. The acting was bad. The direction was bad. The pacing was bad. The writing was bad. For the life of me, I don't know what was the point of this movie. I really sat there midway through, hoping, wishing, and praying that we got to the point. We have gotten so far into the movie, and I didn't know what was going on. What's the purpose of this? Why are we here? Why is this happening over here? It's, and after leaving the theater, those questions still weren't unanswered for me. I still don't understand the purpose of this movie, the purpose of the plot, the purpose of this family. Now, they had an interesting idea with the family element of it all. They kind of tried to mix Final Destination Bloodlines with the Evil Dead franchise, and even sprinkle in a little Ready or Not in there. Just not funny. And they tried to kind of reignite, no pun intended, this franchise where this franchise didn't need a fresh start or a kick in the butt. I think we left off with a really good installment, and then we leapt into this. This felt like early 2000s direct to video or direct to VOD type movie. If it was in the 90s or whatever, this is something that would go straight to VHS. It is not a really good installment. It's not. And I'm kind of baffled by it because I'm so disappointed with this movie, but I had no expectations really. I wasn't looking for the Citizen Kane of horror movies here. I was just looking for an interesting story because the previous 5 films in this franchise did have an interesting story. Now, granted, it wasn't earth shattering, it wasn't the greatest written franchise, but it kept you interested. There was nothing interesting about this movie. None of the characters are likable. Not one character can you get behind and be like, oh, right, I hope they make it. Oh, man, I hope they survive this. Oh, man, come on, get out of it. Cheer them on. None of them. You really don't care. You actually wishing for something to happen to these people. It doesn't keep you interested in that regard. And then it just poo-poos on the lore of the Evil Dead franchise, how it all comes together, how it all works. And I still don't understand how the things that were happening in this movie, why they were happening. It made absolutely no sense. Now, had this been I don't know, Yankee Doodle Have a Farm, the title of the movie, in a different direction that had nothing to do with the Evil Dead, maybe I would enjoy it a little more. But being as though this is the Evil Dead, it should have elements of the Evil Dead. Yeah, the Book of the Dead and all that other stuff. Yeah, it just felt shoehorned into this. And it didn't work. It did not work. It crashed and burned once again, no pun intended. And it did absolutely nothing for me. Now, you may go see it and enjoy it. But if you are a type of horror fan who just loves gore, this is the movie for you. If you're not looking for any substance at all, you just want to see brutal kills, all right, you might get something out of this. And with that being said, the brutal kills, that wasn't even satisfying. That didn't even tickle my pickle. And you could have easily won me over with some innovative kills. And this movie didn't do it. It did not do it. It was zero humor. All of the Evil Dead films have humor. Even the Freddy Alvarez, like I said, that movie had humor. Evil Dead Rise had a little humor in it. This movie had no humor. It actually had the audacity to try to take itself too serious. And I did not enjoy it, if you can't tell. Evil Dead Burns gets a letter grade of a D-. Yeah, aside from the cinematography, which I actually love, some of the shots in here were absolutely gorgeous. Had some beautiful shots in this film, and they had a scene, and I'm not spoiling anything here because it was in the trailer. A one-shotter, even though you could tell it wasn't a one shot, you could see like where they made the cuts, but it was designed to be a one shot, just a 5-minute long just kill fest that was going on in this house. I thought that was interesting. Done pretty well. The way the camera was flowing through the house and everything. Real good blocking. Loved that. I loved all of that. But unfortunately, the movie couldn't match the level of cinematography. Now, also, the movie also, it did kind of connect to the rest of the franchise. There's a post-credit scene in here. There's a post-credit scene, and it does link up to the previous film, Evil Dead Rise. But why? It made no sense. Because it has nothing to do with the movie. It had nothing to do with our main plot line, that post-credit scene. Zero. And the recording. The recording that was in Evil Dead Rise pops up in this movie and is a big part of this movie. So I guess technically, yeah, I'm probably not looking at it correctly. That is not connected, but it still made no sense. You got to see the movie. See, I'm talking around it because I don't really want to spoil it, even though who really cares about this? But you know me, I don't like spoiling things unless I intend to do a spoiler review. But it's really nothing to be a spoilerly review about this movie. But there are some elements here they may catch you off guard, you know. So I want to leave that for you in case you are desperate to see a movie and you want to go see it. By all means, go see it. But there are a couple of things that kind of link up to previous installments in this franchise. But as far as the main storyline, that's what I'm really focused on. It was just unbelievably horrible. It's just horrible all around. But those are my thoughts about Evil Dead Burned. Hey, maybe I'm getting too old. Maybe horror just isn't getting there for me like it used to. And this is coming from a horror nut. This is coming from somebody who really considers himself a Deadite. I really love this franchise. But hey, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. It's all subjective anyway, but I want to know your opinion. And I want to know, maybe you see something I'm not seeing. Maybe you can bring me to the light. Please. I implore you, subscribe to the kbradionetwork.com website. You can contact me through there. You can also contact me on YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Evil Dead Burn. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.